Hey everyone, Mog here, and today I'm doing a little video on this Manifoil Mark IV. So there's I guess two reasons I'm doing this video. First, I think this is a super cool lock, and second, I suppose I spent a bunch of time getting it mounted and cleaning it before that, and so I thought I'd do a little video kind of going through the process. So there's going to be a few cuts in this video since most of the footage is from a couple weeks ago when I really did most of the work, and I've just been procrastinating, I suppose, on finishing it up and tying everything together. So that's what I'm doing today. So in this first clip, or I don't know, it's maybe a bit long to call it a clip, but anyway, in the first bit here, um, I started by taking the lock apart and cleaning it because I really wanted it to be as shiny as it could possibly be for whenever I decide to take the back off. So yeah, I'm gonna pass it over to former me and kind of show you the process I go through as I put the lock back together. Hey everyone, Mog here, and in front of me I've got a bunch of parts for a Manifoil Mark IV. So I'm just going to be putting it back together. Just gave it a bit of a clean with some microfiber cloth, really just giving everything a little bit of a polish, getting rid of some kind of grimy grease that's probably been in here for a long time. I'm going to try and use a tiny bit of this, that's French, PTFE spray that been recommended for such purposes, so I'm going to just be using a tiny bit of that on some of the moving parts as I put it back together. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. I haven't done this on video before, or put it back together at all actually, so should be fun. Okay, and I've got things laid out. So ordered, basically starting at the top left, this is kind of the order I took it apart in, so I'm going to be going backwards to put it all back together, and we'll see how long this takes. So first thing is this little guy at the bottom here, and then since this is going to be spinning on that, I don't want to be using a lot of this, so I've got this paper towel here, just gonna get a tiny bit on the ring. Give it a little bit of a spin to make sure that's all moved around properly. And I should add a tiny bit on this inner part too. There we go. Got this guy. I've already lubed the bottom part, so I'm not going to be putting more on. I want to be pretty gentle with the grease. Okay. And I've got this guy. And give it a little spin. And we'll do another little bit all around here. There we go. Sorry, hopefully I'm not getting my head in the way there too much. Okay, there's a little bit of a spin. Already lubed both sides. Oops, that was close. There we go. And I got this little brass ring here. To be fair, this is probably not the most interesting part of it. That'll probably come in a moment, but that's okay. Okay, so now I gotta get this little brass ring ready to go a little bit lower, because I'm gonna be putting on this C-clip right at this. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little groove on the spindle that I'll be putting the C-clip in, and put just a tiny bit of this around there. Okay. It's not quite in there. So I'm just overshot it a little. There we go. So that's all closed up nice. The wheels are still spinning, so that's all good. Yeah, nice motion there. Cool. Okay, so we'll get on with these ones now. Okay. I guess actually I'll put a tiny bit on the bottom here. And put a tiny bit on top as well. Just being really gentle with the grease. Don't need a lot. Or so I've been told. I've never done this before, so, you know. Here's hoping I nail it. Put a little on the top as well. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We've got this last little clip here to put on. Okay, and I'm just going to inspect it. Want to make sure this is all good, but it's spinning nicely, so that's a good sign. Yeah, everything seems to be moving quite nicely. Okay, cool. Now let's see. Now I believe is where this guy comes into play. So this guy goes over here. Let's see. This guy's a pretty snug fit. So, okay, there we go. So there's a couple nubs on the bottom of this that fit into grooves on the base here, so this guy is feeling good. Now I'm gonna put this guy in. That should be about right.
this might be one of the trickier parts. If I recall correctly, we've got this guy like so, and then let's see if I can get this in the correct spot. I'm gonna rotate this a little. Okay, you know what? I have a better idea. We're gonna start with it like that. And I know I'm obscuring the view here a little bit, but the most important thing here is just that I get this back together. Oh, so you know what? I just realized I have a bit of a problem because I need all these gates in the right spot. Let's see here. Okay. And I've got this screw right here that should fit in here. I'm gonna start it just with my finger. And I've got a screwdriver here somewhere to finish it. Okay, I think that feels alright. Okay. Now, let's see here. So, I do want to make sure there's a tiny bit of grease on the nose, because that's going to be sliding on things. And similarly within here. Okay. Now, just got 2 pieces left. So if I recall correctly, this guy, oh, I'll need the spring. So let's see here. Fairly sure, yeah, this guy goes like that. Well, that's gonna hurt a little, but let's see here. Okay, so, just want to be gentle with this spring. If I break it, I will never get another. Okay. New approach. Just a little further. There we go. So, yep, there we go. That seems to be as it needs to. And just one more piece left here, which is this little guy. So, if I recall correctly, well, know that this goes on like so. Okay, and then let me see here, how did this guy go on? I believe it was just like this. And use my handy dandy tweezers again to get that guy in place. And there we go. So there you have it, all back together. And yeah, that's how you reassemble a Manifoil Mark IV. I'm not going to be doing the splining and mounting on this video just because that's going to be a whole other can of worms that's coming up next. I probably won't actually do a video of that because it's going to take a lot of time, I anticipate. But yeah, there you have it. So now that we have the lock all clean and back together, the next major thing I went about doing was creating the mount, which I didn't do a video on, but you can see a little bit about it in the video. Really the main thing was cutting a bunch of holes in this and then machining out a few parts. Well, machining's a gracious word, but anyway, really just machining this main piece of wood here to accept the format of the Mark IV Manifoil. And then in this video, what I'm actually going to show you is the process of actually mounting it. So with that, let's get into it. So, last couple days, I've been making a mount. Went to the hardware store, got some wood, drilled a bunch of holes in it, milled away some other areas for things to fit the way they need to. The thing I'm least sure about with this is how well these screws will hold it in. Added some crazy glue to the seams on either side to hopefully help. Got a few nice, I don't know what you want to call these, but little things to give it some grip on the table. And yeah, with that, it's time to try mounting this. I've measured and compared things along the way, so I'm pretty sure this is gonna work, but I haven't actually tried yet, so let's find out together. So to start with, I've got to put these screws in and get kind of the base of the lock, this part attached, and then we'll move on to the dial from there. So I cut away a little bit so these will sit flush because the dial is going to go on here after. So that's looking promising. I've got this piece that goes on like that, and then we'll drop this in here. Okay, I've got both pieces sitting in their grooves, because there's kind of one under the bolt and then one where the spindle goes, so that's a good sign. Okay, now we'll screw these on. Did not think about screwing things in here, so this might get interesting. But wonder, will this fit? Enough. Okay, do this one as well. I'm not tightening these super tight yet, just getting them in place. Oops. I'm really excited and also really nervous right now. Really hoping this all fits together well. Okay, this one is going to be tricky. Can I get the screwdriver in there? Enough. Good, good. Okay. I'm starting to tighten these down. At a certain point I might need to turn this a little, get to the other side of these screws, but for now this is working well. Okay. This is seeming pretty good. None of these are all pretty tight. I don't feel a need to crank them super hard because it's just on wood on the other side, so just kind of get them a little snug. It's feeling pretty good. Oops. Okay. So yeah, those are all in there nice. Okay, well, that's a promising start. Fortunately, yeah, this guy, okay, that's not going anywhere. Just want to make sure it doesn't all fall apart while I've got it turned around to mount the dial. So, got a few parts going on for the dial. So, these, let's see here. So, if I recall correctly, okay. So I think to start, I've got to get this part all attached. So let me think, what's the best way to do this? I've pre-drilled a couple holes here, so hopefully this is pretty easy. Okay, that's starting to get nice and snug. I'm just trying to line things up, make sure it's going to fit with the spindle well. Not the end of the world if I have to loosen the screws to move the dial ring just a little, but try to avoid that if possible. Just trying to make sure I'm screwing straight here. Okay. Well, it's looking pretty good. Seems okay. So next, we've got this thing that goes, let's see here, yeah, right like that. And we've got these little clippy things that keep it in place. Oops. No, I will, okay. I don't have my Phillips head ready, so give me 1 second to grab that. Let's see, is this one gonna do the trick? Yeah, that seems like a good fit. Oops. Oh yeah, I need to put the ring on first. Okay. Whoops. This is a little awkward trying to hold it, but I kind of have to, I think, because otherwise all this stuff will just be sliding around. Okay. Haven't fully tightened that. I'll get the other one in a little bit too, and then tighten these screws down. Okay. These screws are already pretty worn, so I'm not going to be trying to get them too tight. Okay. And that ring looks centered as I can get it, I think. Okay. Now, screwing this into the drive. I'm pretty sure. I think that's going down. Whoop. Yep, that's good. It's spinning smoothly. These are things I'm happy to see. Okay, now it's a lot easier to do it this way because the with it in the unlocked position, the bolt can't retract any further, so it gives resistance. When I was trying to undo this thing, I was like clamping on this with my thumb or palm. It was hard. Okay. Let's see, how are we doing on the back here? So, got a little more ways to go. Looks like it should line up pretty well in terms of how far down this is going to go, and the dial's fitting in there nicely. Maybe a little off center. Okay. Okay, I think we're about where we want to be. I'm going to loosen it up just a little. Well, that seems pretty good. Now, get the spline key in there. Okay. Just gently, very gently knock it in. that seems good there. I'm gonna wait a moment before I put the back on. Let's see. I'm gonna try seeing what this feels like without these attached if I can, or at least with the one. Well, I think that's feeling pretty good, so I'm gonna screw this back on. Okay. So, let's see here. There we go. And now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, awesome. He's gonna do this, then, you know, scramble up the combo and then dial it open. But I'm probably not going to try to dial it open just because the orientation is, maybe I'll try. The orientation has changed. The way I got this lock, the bolt was mounted facing up, and now I've got it right hand, so I think I'll just rotate all the numbers by 25, and it should work just fine. Okay, there's that one, and there's that one. So there we go. It's a snug fit, but it does the trick. Wow, and there we have it, all mounted. I'm gonna have a quick sip of this beer before we continue, because I think I've earned it. Okay, so you can see it unlocking there, and part of my intention with this design is I can at least just barely see the bolt on the side, and very fun. Okay, so let me see here. I've got the combination written down. So, well, so this is, I think the dial ring is not quite centered, so this is getting a little weird. Okay, well, I need to fix that, which should be relatively easy. I'll just need to shift this slightly that way, very slightly, and then I think this should all be a really nice fit. But yeah, there you have it. So, well, yeah, let's see if I can. I wonder, can I open it still? Okay, I don't really want to mess with that anymore. But, yep, that's at least very close. A few more tweaks. I'll have another little add-on to show it all spinning smoothly. Okay, I'm back. I have fixed this up, so now it's rotating nicely. Right now it is unlocked. Then, let's see, well, I'm gonna scramble it up a bit, but as you can see here, got the dial spinning pretty nicely, and let's see if I can't dial it open. So I'm gonna pick up all the wheels. Our first number is 73.
pick up all but that one. There's 1, 2, 3, and our next number is 82. And we're gonna pick up 1 and pick up 2, and our next number is 94. Then we're gonna pick that up, stop at 0, and there we go. And it is unlocked. So yeah, there you have it. That is the finished product, or finished mount I should say. Looks like I could even get to the change hole, because that's good, because I will want to change this combo shortly. And yeah, so that is Manifoil Mark IV, all nicely mounted. So now, as you can see, after a minor, I guess, tweak, it's all mounted nicely. And that tweak was, yeah, as I mentioned in the video, really just about getting the dial ring nice and, I guess, in a good position relative to where the actual dial has to go based on where the lock is mounted. Now, overall, I'm pretty pleased with where things ended up. You know, the dial spins as smoothly as it's expected to, like when no wheels are picked up reasonably smoothly, and you know, when you pick up wheels, there's some friction from the friction rollers, and you know, just the picking up the wheels themselves. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I guess the main thing that you know, if I were to do this again, I would like to turn out a little better is the dial doesn't sit perfectly flush with the dial ring. You can see that at this angle. I'm not entirely sure what the main cause of this is. I think it might just be a matter of the wood not being perfectly level all the way across. That's what I would like to think, at least, to you know, exclude myself from the blame and say, oh well, my materials were not quite perfect. So maybe at some point I'll go back and try and remedy that. I think you know, I could maybe cut out, kind of recess it a little bit here for the dial ring to go in, or recess it a bit on this side for the, or rather recess it a bit on this side for the lock to fall in a bit further. So it would be, you know, as you can see, it sticks up a little bit on this side. You know, it's just not quite perfect, but honestly, all in all, it is working pretty well. I think, you know, unless I'm really nitpicking it, you know, I'm pretty pleased with how it looks. So yeah, that's kind of a bit on my journey to get this super cool lock mounted on a lock that on a mount that I feel does it justice. And yeah, there you have it. I know it's a pretty long video in the end of things, but for anyone who took the time to watch, or maybe for anyone who took the time to watch parts of it as they might have applied to you, maybe you were seeing how to put your manifold back together, or maybe you were trying to learn a little bit about what a mount should look like. Regardless, I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.